Hi everybody, it's Charlie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are gonna play some more Vampire the Masquerade. So it's been a while, so I don't really remember where we left off. But I see it's night 11. So let's go. I got a bit caught up in like the Inzoi craze, the character creator, so I've been doing that. But now we're back. Also, I got new headphones with a new microphone. I hope the sound of my voice is better. Let's see, can we do anything else? No, we have to rest, so let's do that first. Okay. We have D'Angelo back here, so we're gonna go there. So, Dead and Blues is... It's been some time since your last visit at Red Hook. You should probably get back to D'Angelo and see if he has managed to figure out on how to handle Sana. Oh yeah, he had her, like, in his house. My god. As you make your way up the stairs, you notice that D'Angelo's office is surprisingly quiet. You were half expecting something akin to a scene from The Exorcist, with Sana belching out curses and your companion sprinkling her with, well, whatever it is vampires use for holy water. What you witness instead as you open the door is the picture of Serenity. The girl, although still curled up in the corner, is sitting calmly, with her eyes fixed on the pages of some pulpy detective novel. She doesn't even register your presence. Okay. Sitting behind the desk, D'Angelo seems to be looking over some files. Puffing on his usual brand of cigar, seeing no trace of Larson, you assume he must have gone back to his family. Noticing your presence, the vampire detective leans back in his chair and gives you a tired look. Hey there, kid. Glad you can make it. Huh. You kidding? I wouldn't miss this for the world. Clearly noticing your sarcasm, he hits back with a smile that could express anything but amusement. Right. Make yourself comfortable. We have some heavy shit to figure out, you and I. I've been going over the cases, mulling over our options. Surprise, surprise, they all suck donkey dick. No matter how we go about this, someone gets fucked over. Her, Larson, us. Okay. Wait, did you just say case files? Do we have those? Hey, say what you will about me, but I take my work seriously. And as my faithful assistant, you should too. So, here's what we can do. 1. We grab Sana and take her to Elysium and make a case for her to Prince Bannard. 2. We get Valerie to back off by feeding her the dirt I got on Larson. 3. We try to get Sana out of the city. Come on, kid. I can hear them thoughts bouncing around your head from over here. Out with it. You want to bring Sana to Elysium? Isn't that pretty much a death sentence? Pretty much, but not quite. If we can get an audience with Bannard, we might be able to convince her to spare Sana's life. The prince isn't as much of a hard ass as some would like her to be. She'd probably rather avoid further alienating the Duskborn community. That said, if you run into Kadir, we're as good as fucked. What kind of dirt do you have on Larson anyway? Must be some serious shit. Oh, it is. A few years back, the Second Inquisition led the coordinated assault on New York kindred. Operation Lights Out, they called it. Nasty fucking business that was. A lot of good vampires died. Some of them I knew personally. Larson was one of the Inquisition's first targets. But when they got to him, he managed to convince them to spare his life. In exchange, he fed them into info on a fellow Camarilla member, one Nicky the Chop. Suffice it to say, Nicky didn't make it through the night. Okay, time's a wasted. What do you think we should do? Wait, you're letting me make the call? Look, kid, I've been at it all day, mulling it over, and all I got from my trouble was a splitting headache. I just don't know anymore. All I'm asking for you is your honest opinion. Just pick one and make a case. Convince me is the right thing to do, or the least wrong, at least. So, one more time. Bring the girl to Elysium, trade her life for Larson's, or sneak her out of town. Which one would you go with? I'm gonna take her to Elysium because I'm a Ventru and I wanna look good with the Camarilla. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. Bringing her to Elysium seems like the most reasonable thing to do. And the cruelest, or at the very least the most risky. If we can't convince Panner to give Sana a shot, the girl's as good as dead. Then we better be extra convincing. So be it. Fuck. Do me a favor, kid. Watch her for a few minutes, okay? I gotta make some arrangements. Make a few calls. He catches himself, looks at you with an expression of the phoniest of phony guilt. But not like with the phone or anything, because, you know, that would make me a naughty boy, which I'm clearly not. He walks out of the office. Through the frosted windows, you see him instantly go for his clamshell phone. Screw it. Does it really make a difference at this point? You turn to the girl, who still has her nose in the book. So, is the book any good? I don't usually go for this sort of stuff. It just leaves me cold. She looks up from the book and her eyes glaze over. Cold. A shiver runs down your spine. You decide it's best to leave her to her reading and spend the next few minutes in complete silence. Finally, D'Angelo staggers back into the room. Alright, I called a friend of mine who works at the art hall. She says the prince is there right now in her private quarters. We'll just have to figure out a way to get an audience. He walks over to Sana and crouches beside her, speaking softly. He takes the book out of her hands and gently strokes her head. Hey, darling. I need you to listen very carefully. We're gonna go on a little trip, okay? You need to stay quiet and stay close to me. Can you do that? Stay close to D'Angelo? She squints, trying her best to concentrate. D'Angelo. Close enough. Something akin to a smile creeps onto her face. It's as close to happy as you've ever seen her. Gift, not hurt. D'Angelo returns her smile. You're welcome. He turns to you, putting his serious face back on. He nods. Looks like it's go time. The art hall welcomes you with all its usual weirdness and grotesqueries masquerading as contemporary art. Right now, however, art is the last thing on your mind. As the three of you make your way through the crowd of usual suspects, D'Angelo gestures towards a lone figure standing in the corner. To your surprise, it turns out to be Sophie. As you approach, she raises an eyebrow, taking an especially long look at Sana. And here I thought nothing in this world could surprise me anymore. Mind telling me what it is you're doing here? D'Angelo nods courteously. We're here to see Prince Bannert. I don't suppose you could help us get an audience. I think you're confusing me with the Princess Herald. An honest mistake in this lighting. Still, I'm afraid you're out of luck. From what I've heard, the prince does not accept visitors. Come on, help us out here. I'll owe you one. Her lips smile, but her eyes pierce you with an unflinching gaze. You already owe me. Much more than just one. Suddenly you hear a voice from behind you. It's the last voice you could possibly want to hear right now. Maybe I can help. You look over to D'Angelo. He seems frozen in place, not able to move a single muscle. This is bad. Very bad. Keeping things casual, Kadir tips an imaginary hat in your general direction. When he looks at Sana, you notice his expression sour, if ever so slightly.
Perhaps this is a conversation best held private. Follow me.
Before leaving, he nods at Sophie.
Langley.
Kadir. Again, you glance over to D'Angelo, but he doesn't even acknowledge you. He seems to be in a state of deeply internalized panic. Not seeing any way out of the situation, you follow Kadir into a small backstage area. There, he stops and addresses you once more.
It's good to see you, D'Angelo. It's been a while since you last saw your face around here. And I see you've brought friends. So how about we skip the unnecessary drama and you two leave without incident while I'll take care of our thin blood guest.
Hmm. The girl's mentally ill. You can't hold her responsible for her actions.
I'm not holding her responsible for anything. She's a problem, and it's my job to solve problems.
It doesn't have to be this way. Just let us talk to Panner.
That's Prince Panner to you, D'Angelo, and no, your harebrained scheme isn't gonna work. What exactly did you think was going to happen? You bring the Duskborn with a blood hunt on her head to my doorstep and what? Hope that the prince stays my cruel hand? Honestly, I thought you were smarter than that. But I promise to make it quick, painless. That's as much as you'll get, so don't push it.
And with that, he turns to Sana. His expression grows softer, almost kind. He then grabs her by the hand gently. There's not even an inkling of violence in his demeanor.
Come, my child. You've been very brave. The pain is almost over.
Pain. Over. With blissful ignorance, she looks at you and D'Angelo as the sheriff walks her out of the room. Your companion looks broken, as if something inside him just snapped. Without even looking at you, he utters under his breath, "I killed her." You try to save her. If anyone's a killer here, it's Kadir. Kadir does what he's ordained to do. I can't be mad at a scorpion for using its stinger. No, this one's on me. I really thought I could save her. Not really knowing what to say, you lift your hand to pat him on the back. You stop yourself mid-motion. Somehow, it doesn't seem like the right thing to do. You leave the art gallery and head back to Red Hook. On your way, you keep thinking about Sana and whether now is the exact moment Kadir brings her final death. It's not a pleasant journey. Slowly, clumsily, you make your way back into the grain terminal. No words are spoken, no bad jokes made, no monologues muttered, and no smiles exchanged. There's only silence and vacant stares. As you head up the stairs to D'Angelo's office, you can feel the tension rising. You can tell the moldy sleuth had reached a breaking point. He walks into his office and leans against his cluttered desk. You figure now is a good time as any to break the silence. Why don't you grab some shut-eye? It's been a long night. The moment you finish your sentence, D'Angelo leans over and sweeps all of his stuff off the desk. Notepads, bits of paper, and what looks like a cheap imitation of an antique lamp. It all comes crashing to the floor. It doesn't stop there, as he grabs a heavy file cabinet and knocks it over. Slowly but surely, the once quiet office runs into a heap of crumpled paper and broken furniture. The tantrum lasts for mere seconds, but as you stand there, watching, it feels like forever. Finally, D'Angelo stops and looks up at the ceiling. It's hard to tell if he's had enough or simply run out of stuff to throw around. As he stands there, slowly regaining composure, one of the objects scattered on the floor catches your eye. It's a small paperback novel, the same you saw Sana reading earlier tonight. It must have landed there while D'Angelo was giving the room a royal thrashing. You pick it up. In huge letters, the title on the cover spells, "The Longest Night and Other Stories." A smaller caption underneath reads, "Another collection of stories from the Gianni D'Angelo saga." What in the actual fuck? You flip it over and are immediately drawn to the picture on the back cover. If not for a lack of flaky skin and distorted features, you'd say the guy looks very familiar. The name next to the picture, Reginald Finch. You stand there, not even knowing where to start. Even in his current state, D'Angelo, or whatever his name is, remains one step ahead of you.
Yeah, that's me in the picture. Reggie fucking Finch. Haven't seen him in a while. Wasn't planning to.
You named yourself after one of your characters?
Afraid it's more than that. I sorta became him. See, Reggie Finch was your pushover. Small-time journalist and a wannabe writer. He would never survive out there, among the coteries of New York. Johnny D'Angelo, on the other hand. Honestly, it just sorta happened. Guess it was the only way I could make sense of it all. I mean, once you wake up looking like this, realizing your life and all that you were is gone forever, you can't really blame me for trying to at least make it interesting.
I guess to some extent, we all put on an act in front of others. We make up characters, idealized versions of ourselves. It gives us something to live up to. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still weird, but it's not that weird. D'Angelo. For a moment, he seems to be mulling over what you just told him. Finally, he picks the ashtray up off the floor. Rummaging through the ashes, he finds a mangled, half-finished cigar. He sticks it in his mouth and lights it up, the lighter's flame reflecting in his shades. He smiles at you, ever so slightly.
Thanks, kid. Tell you what. How about you take the rest of the night off? I need some time to get my shit in order. Starting with this office. Some dumb assholes made one hell of a mess of it.
You smile and nod. He nods back.
I'll be seeing you.
And so you leave him to his thoughts. No way to be sure, but you have a feeling. He's gonna be alright. Okay. So, we have nothing left of Hope and D'Angelo. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna go to the Tremere? Or what was this guy again? Yeah, a mysterious invitation? Or Jezebel is a gangrel. I think I'm gonna go with this. You've received an invitation to meet a mysterious someone at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Why not? You haven't been to a church since you became a vampire, or a kindred, as the euphemism goes. You've had to focus on concrete, practical things like survival and feeding. You've learned the essentials of the vampire experience, but you don't really have a clear idea of what it all means. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine is a New York landmark. You've been inside once before, when you were much younger. You marveled at its Gothic facade. Looking at it now from across the street, it feels ominous. The prospect of an anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one, but the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this, with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You've quickly learned this is an essential skill for a vampire, how to move without anyone noticing you. The full force of the cathedral's architecture hits you as you walk between the pews. If the architect meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory, mission accomplished. Based on the note, you're assuming that whoever you're meeting is somewhere in the front. As you step closer to that high altar, it feels as if someone is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. It occurs to you that many people might consider you a satanic creature, a vampire as you are. In movies, vampires can't enter a church. They're burned by a cross. Yet here you are. That means it's okay, right? There's an old man sitting in the front. You see only the back of his head, bowed down in silent prayer. Your footsteps echo on the floor, and he turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off him. He's tall, dignified, white hair, balding, a few strands escaping to the sides. He's wearing glasses and simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm and pale, too kind for someone like you. Something's wrong. You feel heavy, as if a giant hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Perhaps unconsciously you expected something like this, as a vampire walking into a cathedral. Only it's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man, the priest.
Welcome, my child.
The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside is telling you that kindness is not for the likes of you. Fuck. I'm gonna confront him. The only way to understand these painful feelings is to push forward and confront the priest. As you step closer to the priest, panic rises inside you. The emotions are hard to control. Fear, anger, pain, all trying to wrestle you in different directions away.
Can I help you? Are you okay?
The priest talks to you like he would a lost vagrant who has chosen to enter the house of God. Please. It hurts.
Sit down and tell me what's wrong.
It's simply too much. You mutter something incoherent in reply. You don't sound like a vampire, an undead being made powerful by immortal blood. You're just another sad, confused, lost soul. You turn around and stagger away, only feeling like yourself once you're back on the street outside. You stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. No enemies seem to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow you. The night air is wet with the smell of the city, the same as every night.
So I feel like because this guy has probably like true faith, that's why he is impacting us so much, I think. At least that's my 2 cents. Ah, there he is. How did it feel?
You look at the man speaking to you. He is well dressed, if a little archaic. Dark-haired, handsome, like a character from an old movie. He smiles, as if he knows something you don't. You glance around. There are people on the street. You don't appear to be in immediate danger. Why does it hurt so much?
That's a question. I wanted to talk to you about that. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benoit Segal. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me.
Benoit offers his hand to you. Benoit's handshake is firm and dry. He looks at you intently, as if trying to find something in your eyes.
Would you mind sitting with me for a moment?
Benoit points to a park bench nearby in darkness because of a broken street light. Wary, you decide to follow him. Only an enemy totally uncornered with the Masquerade would attack you here. Unconcerned with the Masquerade would attack you here. Benoit sits down and you follow suit. For a moment, you both contemplate the cathedral in silence.
You know how it feels, what you just felt? I've experienced it myself, many times.
For a moment you consider how to respond. It's clear Benoit sent the invitation to come here and orchestrated this little setup. What's the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here?
We share a connection, you and I. I'll explain it later. But right now, the important thing is that it's so much easier to show than to tell. I wanted you to meet Father Anthony, or see him, experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that?
At first I thought it was because I was in a church, but then I realized it came from him, the priest.
I think you're right. It does come from him.
It's his faith that makes you feel like that. Yeah, I was right.
He's safe in his belief while you are one of the damned. Do you ever wonder what the role of a vampire... What's the role of a vampire in God's creation?
You stop to think.
Of course you've wondered what this is all about. Whether it's about God,
or nature, you don't really know what being a vampire means. That's the trouble with the Masquerade. A human faced with a human problem can go online and find something that helps. You can't. The Masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is secret, hidden away. You're left relying on the unreliable opinions of people like Benoit. Suddenly, Benoit takes your hand and presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, you feel his heart stop. My heart no longer beats, yet I move. I talk. Is that how God intended us to be? Let go of my hand, you asshole. Benoit lets go of your hand and you quickly withdraw it. You're asking yourself these same questions. You know you are. Sometimes I'm skeptical too, but in Father Anthony's presence, I know faith is real. I know it because it hurts so much. Or perhaps you have questions about faith and our kind. Perhaps we are divine, not damned. Benoit laughs, and for the first time the aura of bitterness enveloping him lifts. You're clever. There are many religious cults among the kindred, even more among the Anarchs. Some of them do indeed believe we are divine. We die, we rise again, just like Jesus. Be careful with that kind of talk, though. You might not know it, but there are always politics attached to every belief. Go into an Elysium, declare your divinity, and everyone around will start making assumptions about you. Sometimes faith is best kept private, even among our kind. Just ask yourself, when you met Father Anthony, did you feel divine? Did you have anything else, or did I come here just to talk about religion? I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him, whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children. Anyone can have that conviction inside them. I don't care about this. I have to go. I can't concentrate when I know the priest is still inside. Benoit nods patiently. Let's meet again in a few nights, here at the cathedral. We can talk more after you've thought it through. You leave Benoit sitting in the shadow of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you experienced. Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true. But what does that mean? Okie dokie. Rest up. You come back to your haven after a long night out. Right before you open the door, you notice something strange. The sounds of television are coming from your apartment. Madman, if you're not mistaken. You open the door and carefully peek in. A young, disheveled woman is curled up on your sofa. She has a blanket pulled on top of her and seems very comfortable. Next to her, lies an obviously unconscious, preppy woman. Ugh! You're home! The woman reaches for the remote and puts Madman on pause. You weren't home, so I started without you, Netflix and chill. Join me, there's a space on the sofa. I brought us a snack. You enjoyed it the last time. The woman points lazily to the unconscious girl. Oh, I forgot. My name is Adelaide. Adelaide Davis. I like you a lot. Help yourself and settle in. Is this a Malkavian again? Please go. I don't want you to be here. Adelaide bounces up from the sofa with surprising energy. I go to all this trouble and this is the thanks I get? I can't get angry if I'm being treated like this. For a second, Adelaide's words worry you, but then you notice the playful glint in her eye. You're playing hard to get. It's adorable. Just please, go. You're cute when you're serious. This is fun. You should really get mad at me. The door to your apartment opens. Someone with a key. Sophie. Adelaide Davis, the scourge of Snug Harbor in the flesh. This is a new low for you, fledgling. Adelaide looks at Sophie murderously before fading from view. I hate it when they disappear. You should have enough manners to slink away in embarrassment so we can all enjoy it. Sophie waits for the door of the apartment to close before she speaks. Clan of the Moon. Did I not advise caution when dealing with them? As you watch, Sophie makes a phone call. 10 minutes later, two of her servants arrive to remove the unconscious girl sprawled on your sofa. You clearly need my help. It won't happen tonight, but let me see if I can resolve your stalker problem for real. You're left to wonder what Sophie meant by that as she leaves your haven. Sophie requests your presence tonight, and it seems urgent. You find her already waiting for you and clearly pondering something. It takes a few minutes of awkward silence before she speaks. I require your assistance, Diana. There's a matter of great importance that I need to ask you to resolve for me. You'll find what I'm about to say surprising, I'm sure, but I need you to hear me out. I need you to contact an important Anarch figure in NYC and arrange a meeting for us. Wait, I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to meet with Anarchs. We're at war, right? Prince does look unfavorably at those who meet with the Anarchs. That much is true. You'll find that with this, as with many other things, the Camarilla's polices have more than their share of hypocrisy inherent in them. It comes hand in hand with using medieval power structures. What we are forbidden to do, the prince may do willingly. Some of these things can be done in the open, while others are kept secret as to not invite discord and discontent. I need to contact a man named Torque. He's an influential member of the movement, and like most of them, very suspicious of the Camarilla. That's why I'm sending you to extend my invitation. How do I know he'll even talk to me? He won't. Not yet, anyway. You need to start further down the chain, and with the right story to spin. From my limited sources adjacent to the movement, I have gathered that your best chance to speak to Torque is to first meet with his right-hand woman, Mia. She's a regular at a club called the Leech Pit. I think it would be best if you presented yourself as an Anarch hopeful, a fledgling looking for a place of belonging. Only after you talk to Torque directly should you mention my name and the meeting. Okay, fine. Yeah, that makes sense. If I open with, I'm with the Camarilla, they might cut me off. We can reveal our cards once I have this attention. My thoughts exactly. After tonight, I suggest we do not speak of this again until you arrange the meeting. There are many who would jump at the chance to use this against us. With Kaiser, you have proven you can get the job done, even if it requires additional legwork. I trust you to deal with this task as quickly and covertly as possible. Forgive me, but that's all the time I can spare tonight. What I'm asking of you is just a part of a bigger whole. Trust me, it will all be worth it. Okay, I'll do my best. I know you will. Check with Gregory for the address of the Leech Pit. Have Mia introduce you to Torque. When she does, tell him I wish to meet. Let him pick the time and place, but let it be soon. If he proves too guarded, tell him I have something that will help him gather allies against Boss Gillan. That should pique his interest. Good luck, and obviously, not a word about this to anyone else, not even any new friends you might have made in recent nights. This stays between us. The way she says that final sentence suggests a not-so-veiled threat, but her warm smile belies that impression. You want her to keep trusting you. You wouldn't want to disappoint her. Gregory gives you the address. The club's in Brooklyn. Apparently, it's some kind of heavy metal bar with a dedicated concert space. Time to pay this Mia a visit. The place is teeming with people tonight. You arrive in the middle of a concert. The music is loud, almost deafening, and it takes you a while to get used to it. This is not your scene at all. You can barely focus through the noise. but you grit your teeth and decide to bear it. The sooner you find Mia, the sooner you get out of this hole. A group of a few dozen patrons are tightly packed together, and the smell of their sweat and youthful, excited blood overwhelms you momentarily. It's with some difficulty that you turn to the task at hand. You've heard your share about the Anarchs and how they fit into kindred politics, but you only have you, you, you only have your short encounter in Corona Park on which to base your actual opinion of the faction. That might have been just a horrible first impression, but you're keeping your guard up, just in case. You start at the bar. Mia was supposed to be a regular. Might as well check how true that is. The bartender turns to you as she pours a line of drinks for a group of roadie patrons. Gotta turn down my volume. This is really, really, really loud. Okay, what can I get you? I'm looking for a girl called Mia. She frequents this pub, I heard. Yeah, she visits every now and then. What do you want with her? Hey, no bullshit? I heard she's kinda hot. Yeah, she's the real deal, alright. Have a seat somewhere. I'll send her your way if I see her. You find a table to yourself after the group you saw order the drinks before clears out, and keep observing the scene at the bar. About 20 minutes pass before a woman approaches you. She's lanky, wearing a jacket a few sizes too big for her frame. It's clear she's got an attitude. She sits across from you without question. Carol tells me you want to talk to me. Follow me behind the bar. She leads you through the bar to a back door that leads into a side room. Indie metal band posters are plastered on every wall. Some of them 20 or more years old, judging from the tour dates. An old sticky table and some rickety chairs are the only pieces of furniture here. Sit down. Sure. You take a seat as a woman leans against one of the walls. The name's Mia. I'm guessing your visit here isn't a happy coincidence? I don't know you, so you're either new in New York or kept an outstandingly low profile. Both sound suspect. So, before we take the pleasantries further, answer me this. Who do you run with? I'm independent. I don't bow to anyone. Isn't that adorable? Listen, fledgling. You don't get to be this fresh in the game and not pick a side. Those second acquisition fucks are all too happy to pick on delusional kids like you. So are the camps. They offer you rewards aplenty for your servitude, but never actually deliver. Fortunately for you, there's another option. But before I get to that, let's get one thing out of the way. She leans in. If this is some clever ploy to oust me from my domain, or if you're just here to spy on me and the movement, I'll make sure that you don't enjoy undeath much longer. Got it? You can tell it's a purely rhetorical question. Right, here's the pitch. The Camarilla likes to think they're the vanilla option. What with Prince Bitch Pannard pretending that they're always in charge? But New York has never been a fully cammy city. They might have won the city in '99, but camps have had their asses handed to them many times over the years, and the movement has been here at least as long as they have. Hell, I moved to NYC before World War II, and that was a good while after I saw the Camarilla for what they really are. A way to keep us all subservient and in line. The Ivory Tower will tell you they're the only safeguard for the traditions, and that's kind of the problem. There's only one tradition we in the movement feel should be respected. The Masquerade. Obviously. Everything else, ask the prince and she'll tell you it's the logical continuation of the Masquerade, but really it's just a way to keep the elders powerful and in control. She grimaces. But here's the thing. For all the talk of us bloodsuckers being solitary creatures, we need a community to keep up the Masquerade. Community, yes, but authority? Not so much. We need a council of peers to keep the assholes and power-drunk fledglings in check, but not a feudal prince to tell you where to feed or who to hunt down. They step on her toes. She takes a brief break from her indignant rant. So, you Anarchs don't have a ruler? A ruler? No, but leaders? Sure. Most follow old boss Callahan's lead. You make it sound like it's most, but not you. Yeah, not me. If you're concerned about being well received in the city, you might need to go through Callahan. But if you're serious about the Anarch cause itself, he's not your guy. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out self-preservation. His position as Baron is mighty shaky now, not least due to the fact he is backstabbed more than his share of allies. So he's doing what any other old fart in a position of power would do. He's doubling down. Negotiations are out, intimidation is in. Tightening ranks as a precaution against the Second Inquisition. She surprises you by hacking and spitting on the ground in disgust. If you spend some time with the Cams, that should sound very familiar to you. He's no better than Bannard and her cronies at this point. No, you need to contact Torque. And wouldn't you know it, it's your lucky night, because I'm the lake to do it through. How is he different from Callahan? Motherfucker, really asking for it. Her anger flares up again. I'll pretend that was just a naive question and not a half-assed jab. Torque is a leader, a local baron who's overseeing a small domain, doing a very good job of it. Callahan knows this. So, he's giving him shit. Torque is taking it like a champ. He's smart like that, for one of us rebels. He's got the patience of a saint, makes you think back on how things used to be way back then. If the stories are to be believed, anyway. You want to meet him? I'm gonna require a show of goodwill first. That's fair. What do you have in mind? She flashes you a mischievous half-smile. I appreciate your readiness, but I don't have the details just now. Ask for me at the bar when you're able. I'll leave something for you, and we'll take it from there. Now, come on. I gotta go. She walks you out of the bar, and you go your separate ways. Seems like there's nothing more to do than return here later and see if Mia really can help you contact Torque. Oakley dokley. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this stalker stuff. Yep. Visiting Elysium with Sophie is always a humbling experience. She's connected, well-known, important. You're nobody. You've always known this, of course, but it's especially apparent when you arrive with her. Everyone notices her, and she drinks it in like it's her birthright. That's Adelaide Davis. Let's go say hello. You spot the woman Sophie is referring to. Adelaide, your stalker. Intense, disheveled, young-looking, a Malkavian, if you've understood correctly. I was right! How cool is that? As you approach, Adelaide smiles at you, with a darting look of distance towards Sophie. Don't worry, I don't judge people on the company they keep. That's sweet of you, darling. Let me say this straight. You can't keep doing what you've been doing. You have to leave my poor ward alone. Adelaide looks from Sophie to you and giggles. The sound must be rare in Elysium, because it makes people glance towards you. I know she's making you do this, don't worry. We'll be together again later. Listen, Adelaide, I already have someone. I have a lover. Adelaide laughs delightedly. Don't worry, I'm not old-fashioned. I'll be happy to meet your lover. I'm sure they're as wonderful as you are. I'm too old-fashioned for a threesome. That's a shame. I can wait. We are immortals. The years pass, but the feelings we have for each other are precious. You should know that I'll always be there, somewhere, invisible, in the night. Sophie chuckles as Adelaide walks away. I suppose that went as well as could be expected. It seems you have a guardian angel. Have fun. As Sophie steps away to chat with her friends, you feel lonely. Surrounded by kindred, you're not sure anyone can really help you navigate this bizarre social environment. Time to rest. I'm so thirsty. I thought I pressed rest. Okay. You arrive at the leech pit, finding it less rowdy than the last time. The bar is still packed, but the dance floor is empty tonight. Instead, the old crackling speakers are playing music that will probably sound like noise even on high-end hardware. Mia's nowhere to be seen, but you do remember she requested that you ask for her at the bar. You know the face behind the bar. The woman doesn't seem to recognize you though. You imagine you were just another patron in a sea of strangers the other night. What can I get you? I was told that someone might have left a message for me at the bar. Ring a bell? Maybe. She looks you up and down, and a spark of recollection shines in her eye. Ah yeah, that's right. She takes a well-worn book from beyond the counter, some kind of YA vampire novel, and flips through it. She produces a piece of paper from between the book's pages and passes it to you. She told me you'd be interested in reading this. You find a relatively quiet corner and take a look at the note. T wants to meet you. I'll arrange it. But you need to prove you're trustworthy. Look around the leech pit for a guy named Bruce. Buff dude, tattoo sleeve on his right arm. I'm 90% sure he's somebody's retainer, sent here to spy on us by the camp. Get me the name of his master and write it on this card, then return it to the bar. It doesn't take you long to locate this Bruce guy. He sits alone in a corner, 2 beer glasses already empty on his table. You take a moment to consider your approach. I'm gonna do... I need to feed, right? I'm gonna feed. You figure you have the time to feed before confronting this guy. Keep your eye on him, but look for a good opportunity in the meantime. Wouldn't you know it, a half-passed-out patron near the toilet is almost begging for someone's attention. You prop him up as if to help him stand straight. His breath reeks of alcohol. You bite into his neck right above his tank top. Careful to drink just a little and quickly. You don't get to enjoy the full palate. It is the closest to a beer you've had in a while though. The man slumps in your arms, mumbles something under his breath, and you settle him down gently near the emptied kegs in the back. Somebody will come pick him up, for sure. Temporarily sated, you turn your attention back to the task at hand. That's when you lock eyes with Bruce. He's been standing there, just meters away, and for a while, you think. He slinks away through the main area and walks outside. He knows what you are, for sure. You follow him out, expecting to have a run after him. But he's there, having a cigarette.
Yo, I had a feeling you'd join me. You smoke?
He pushes a lighter close to you, the flame triggering and primal fear in you that forces you to take a step back and bump into another patron who's just leaving the bar.
Yeah, didn't think so. You were staring at me in the bar before. What do you want?
I know you're here because somebody asked you to spy on this place. I need that somebody's name.
Yeah? Tough luck.
He flicks a cigarette at you and you flinch. It's all it takes for him to dash away, much faster than a human should be able to.
He's bolting, all right. Bruce, stop.
Simple command, obeyed to the letter. You approach him and drag him into a nearby alleyway. He snaps out of your previous command. Now there are only a few meters between the two of you. You clash. You're not great at trading blows, but Bruce clearly doesn't feel comfortable fighting a woman. And with your powers, his punches barely register anyway. It takes a few moments to beat him into submission, but a precise kick to the groin sends him to the ground. His face swollen and his hand protectively placed over his nuts. He gives in. Ah, fucking bitch, what the fuck do you want from me? Your master's name. Now. It's Samira, alright? Name is Samira. Just... fuck. Leave me the fuck alone, you goddamn psycho. You throw one last blow at the pathetic asshole's extremely punchable face for good measures, and make your way back to the leech pit. Time to leave something for Mia. You borrow a pen from the bar and flip Mia's note to the other side. Samira. You put the name down on a piece of paper, hoping you got it right. You pass the piece of paper to the bartender. She sticks it back in the same book. Hold on 1 second. She wanted me to pass something on to you. She produces a cell phone from behind the counter. It's ancient, at least 15 years out of date. Alright, and this. An old charger for the piece of junk in your hand. They really did think of everything. She said she'll be in touch. It takes you a moment to remind yourself how to operate this thing. And you'll find that its phone book is blank. There's no Wi-Fi connectivity and no saved messages. It's got a version of Snake though. Sorry. The bartender is already over at the other end of her domain, taking orders from patrons. With your Anarch contract nowhere in sight, you decide to move on for the night. Hopefully your educated guesses, based on the scraps of info you collected, will be enough for Mia to call you. Okay, and then we've got other stuff to do. You know what? I don't want to go back to that church. I'm gonna go to the Tremere guy. You arrive at the address given to you by Sophie. A small bookstore smack dab in the middle of Broadway of all places. What really catches you off guard, though, is the source display. From what you've heard about the Tremere, they are infamous for their ties to the occult and the mystical. And yet now, looking at the oddball collection of items in the display window, it all feels borderline satirical. The books here cover everything from... what? Ayurvedic practices? I gotta look that up, I don't know what that is. And homeopathy to wellness and self-motivation. The vaguely assuming juxtapositions don't end there, either. You notice a copy of Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible tucked behind the cheap smiling Buddha. I have that one. A scientific journal on hematology sits next to a teen-oriented pamphlet on the blood-type personality theory. A number of religious and quasi-religious symbols, buckets, pins, and various emblazoned paraphernalia? What's with these difficult words? Are haphazardly strewn across the display and between the tomes. Before you even open the door, you can smell the burning incense and hear the corny Far East-tinged music seeping through the crackling speaker mounted above the entrance. It's much more quaint than what you expected from what Sophie told you about the so-called warlocks. It doesn't look like they have much interest in impressing outsiders. Then again, if there's anything you've learned these past few nights, it's that appearances can be deceiving. At this time of night, the shop appears to be closed. Regardless, you ring the bell. You hear someone shuffling around inside. A brief moment later, the latch slides, and the door is pushed open just a few inches. A tired-looking blonde in loose clothes appears in the crack. She seems confused, like you just woke her up. She lets out a yawn, scratching her tattooed neck. Finally, she squints in your general direction. Her pierced lip curves into an awkward smile. I'm looking for a guy named Agathon. Is he around? The girl gives you a suspicious look over, but opens the door. She takes a few steps back and you hear footsteps coming from behind the floral curtain that covers the back door. A bespectacled, smart-looking woman emerges and looks straight at you. Come in and follow me. Just don't touch anything, please. You follow her through the store. Inside, as expected, the stuffy air smells of sandalwood, frankincense, and a dozen of other aromas. The woman leads you behind the curtain and through the back door, onto a rickety staircase. A flight of steps takes you up to the second story. You instantly notice a change in decor as the tacky New Age bookstore gives way to something resembling a cross between a library and a workshop. The smell here is so strong, but much more layered. You're not sure what to make of it at first, but with each whiff, it becomes apparent. Blood. The aroma, though subtle at first, soon becomes overpowering. It takes you a moment to adapt and focus. I don't think you know who you're speaking with, so an introduction is in order. My name is Aisling Sturbridge, and I am the High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs. You're Diana, correct? I have to say, you're lucky the ward outside the building is only there for notifications tonight. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been quite unpleasant. To answer your questions, Agathon is here, but he's hard at work, and I wouldn't want to disturb him. Am I to understand this as a social visit? Wait, how do you know who I am? Well, for one thing, who's who in this city is one of my duties as High Regent. But more importantly, you've been on the mind of many kindred since Langley took you in. It's quite a precedent, as I'm sure you know. First under Prince Panhard, and for Sophie to be the one to do it? Curiouser and curiouser. Still, I'm sure you haven't come here to look for dirt on your sire. That would be unwise. Sophie suggested I should meet Agathon. She said he's quite knowledgeable. Did she now? Aisling looks you up and down. Her countenance seems unchanged, but you can tell she's judging what you said. That's new. Suddenly a man enters from a side room. He doesn't even look at you, lost in his own thoughts. I have it, Aisling. I think I know how to find it. He catches himself as he notices you. His face turns sour. A visitor? Yes, we were just discussing you, in fact. Is that so? Yes, Sophie Langley recommended I contact you about teaming up. Teaming up? He seems very confused by the notion. What for? I could assist you in your work. I can be quite helpful, knowing I can count on someone to return the favor. Is that right? He seems to consider it, then turns to Aisling. Hi, Regent, may I ask your advice on this? She looks you over as if judging your worth. It takes her just long enough to make you feel uncomfortable. When she takes her eyes off of you, she addresses Agathon. Do you feel like you need assistance in your task, my child? I'm confident I can do it on my own. He pauses, hesitating for a second. But I do believe it is important enough to warrant outside help, even if only for a single night. Another brief moment of hesitation. Of course, the details would remain between you and I, sire. Agreed, on all points. Why don't you start by giving our intern here a brief explanation of what it is you're after? Agathon gives Aisling a hesitant look, but the woman nods approvingly. Encouraged, he turns towards you. A member of our clan disappeared without a trace a handful of nights ago. While the High Regent investigates if any foul play was involved, I've been tasked with recovering her research notes. If there is anything left to recover, that is. I may have an idea. Wow. I may have an idea where to start looking, and I suppose this is where you come in. If you truly wish to help, I could use your assistance tonight. Right now, in fact. Given the time we've just wasted on idle chatter, I should leave immediately. And the missing kindred, who is she? A single glance at Aisling is enough. You can tell you're not getting an answer, at least for now. We're after her research, that's what you should focus on. These people aren't in the habit of making things simple. facing layers upon layers of secrecy. You can only hope that what lies beneath is the real deal. I'm heading out. Are you coming or not? Hold up. I need to know more before I decide if I want to get involved. He looks at you impatiently. We can talk on the way there if we must. For now, I need a decision from you. Yeah, I don't know what this is about. I'm not getting into this. You know what, on second thought, this doesn't sound like my kind of thing. It's your choice. He gives Aisling a slight bow. High Regent, with your permission, go. Good luck. Agathon walks out, not even sparing you a glance. The High Regent sighs and shakes her head. Tell me, do you often waste other people's time with pointless chatter? Actually, don't answer that. Please leave, fledgling, promptly if you don't mind. I have work to get back to. I believe you know where the exit is. And so you leave her to her scheming. This is one friendship you won't get the chance to foster. Maybe it's for the best. Only time will tell. Okay. A piece of paper is sticking out of your mailbox. It's a computer printout. A note and a screenshot from Google Maps. It reads, meet me at the indicated spot tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'll pick you up and we'll take it from there. No signature. The place marked on the map is a lookout point near Pier 1, just next to the Brooklyn Bridge. You check the phone that Mia passed on to you. No new messages, no missed calls. It's all a bit fishy, but there's only one way to find out who addressed this to you. Looks like tomorrow evening has been planned out for you. You go downstairs as soon as you wake up. One more glance at the phone, but no news from Mia. You take the car down to Brooklyn Park on Front Street and approach the meeting spot cautiously. A figure of about Mia's size is standing there, dressed in an oversized jacket and looking out toward Manhattan. As you approach, you can hear her muttering something. It is true, but I do not think it true. If I do not think it true, then it cannot be true. And if it cannot be true, then yeah, this is not Mia. Hey, are you the one who left the note at my apartment? The woman turns around. It's not Mia. Whoever it is, you have never seen her before. She looks perfectly plain and unmemorable. The ink on the paper did the message leave. The ink on the paper did your face here bring. You turn around. 3 men, all of them burly and threatening, approach you. One of them takes the lead. So, you got a message. Cut the crap. What is this about? We're taking a trip, friend. The boss wants to meet you. Callahan? That's Boss Callahan to you, fuckface. I suggest you get a move on. We got places to be. The voice of the woman keeps creeping into your consciousness. The latinity of gibberish ever present throughout this entire conversation. The man cracks his knuckles. Or, you can do it the hard way. You're not going down without a fight. You rush the man and hit him, bracing for an unpleasant beating. A shriek fills your head. It's the woman. She's making you feel small and weak. The 2 other men join in. Kicks, punches, you barely feel them. You fight back fiercely, land a few good hits. A baseball bat breaks on your shoulder. A poorly aimed stake scrapes your chest, slides off the ribcage, breaks on the pavement. The wailing of the woman drowns out everything, until all you can think of is that you need to make her shut up. She must obey. You're weak, bruised. They keep hitting you and hitting you and hitting you. You stop resisting. Finally tenderized. Gonna be nice now, stupid bitch? Load her onto the boat, boys. They drag you along. You want to resist, but they got you right where they want you. It will take a while for your blood to give you back the strength to fight. A rickety motorboat is waiting at the pier, and they throw you in. The engine starts. You're off to somewhere. It's hard to tell, especially after they throw a cloth bag over your head. It takes 15 or so minutes to reach your destination, you think. The engine dies down, and you're led on shore and then further up an incline and through some overgrowth. 10 more minutes of walking, maybe, until a deep voice reaches your ears. Vincent, my dear boy, why the hood over our guest's face? Well, boss, I thought... No, that will not do. How many times do I have to repeat myself, Vincent? You don't have to think, you have to listen and do what you're told. Yes? Yes, boss. Well, take that ridiculous sack off their head, will you? The hood comes off. The owner of the deep voice is a curious sight. Dressed in what can only be described as Victorian clothing, with a monocle and graying red hair. Is this Callahan? Apologies for Vincent's unacceptable behavior. He can be a little thick sometimes, isn't that right, Vincent? Yeah, boss. Sometimes. A little. I believe you already know who I am. You're the Anarch Baron. Ain't that the truth? Douglas Callahan is my name. But you may call me boss. Everybody does, for good reason. I've invited you here to have a friendly chat. Now, let me make myself perfectly clear. I am disappointed in you. Truly disappointed. But I arranged this meeting to allow you to make amends. First, though, I have to make sure you understand what your infraction was. So, you know why you're here? I can't help but feel like you're dying to tell me. Don't get smart with me. He takes her face in his hand while Vince holds you in a tight grip. He squeezes hard and looks you deep in the eyes. Torque is the reason you're here, or that little angry strumpet of his, I'm told. Yes? Mia. How I'd love to get my hands on her gaunt neck and wring it until it breaks. But see, I'm a statesman, and that's not the prudent thing to do. No, indeed, the prudent thing to do is to tolerate both her and that blasted ebony-skinned mentor of hers. If you ask me, it all went downhill when you women folk got voting rights. It made you believe you were on the same level as us men. What a ridiculous notion that was. You are a little, It's, not the 1800s anymore? Dude? I'm in a bag. That's quite disgusting, yeah. Finished with your disgusting rant? Oh, fledgling, you have no idea who you're messing with. He looks at you with rage in his eyes, and you feel insignificant and vulnerable. An irrational fear takes over you. You cannot speak up against this man again. You just can't. He's too terrifying. Now that I have your full attention, I will request something from you, and you will obey me to the letter. But that comes later. First, you will answer a few questions. First one of which is, who pointed you to Mia? Nobody. It was my idea. Oh, really? And what was your intention behind the meeting? I needed her help with something. Oh, come now. You have to be more specific than that. I need to know exactly what it was that you discussed. I just wanted her to learn about the Anarchs, so I asked her about the movement. Oh, child, you should have come to me then. I am the Anarch movement in New York City, and nobody makes a secret out of it. And you bet on the wrong horse, as I'm sure you'll soon learn. See, that wasn't hard now, was it? Of course, I can't be sure how much of what you told me was true, and how much of it is worth about as much as yesternights or shite. But I'll find out. I always do. When I do, we'll have another one of these nice talks. Maybe, just maybe, You'll avoid this upcoming unpleasant episode next time. He gives Vince a sign, and the burly man starts hitting you all over. You feel teeth, ribs, and fingers break. Your foot is mangled under Vince's boot. Your shoulder dislocated, your nose wrecked. That's enough, Vincent. Leave them be. He snaps his fingers in front of your face a few times and checks if you can focus on his face. You can, barely. I'm a man of principle. Another night I would perhaps put you in a casket, dip it in concrete and dump it in the Hudson. A favorite of mine during the roaring 20s. It's been a while. What a douche! I can understand why Sophie wants dirt on this guy. But, like I mentioned before, I am nothing but prudent, and so the interests of this city's kindred must come before my own needs and wants. I will therefore let you continue your existence. Here's what I acquire in return for this boon. You are forbidden to meet Torque. I will keep an eye on him. If you want a place with the Anarchs, you go through me and only me. Got it? You have to understand, what I made my associates do to you tonight was just business. We can still work out a mutually beneficial relationship. In fact, it's either that or your final death. Time to go, Vincent. Take the boat back. Leave the fledgling here. I think they have a lot to think about. Sure thing, boss. Pleasure making your acquaintance. Callahan walks away, as do Vince and his band of thugs. You lie on the ground for a while longer, feeling the blood slowly putting your body back together, your hunger growing. You can hear the beast calling, for sustenance, for safety, for revenge. A distant but pronounced third desire. It's not until you mend yourself enough to appear more as a mugging victim than an impossibly mangled walking cadaver that you hail a passing taxi. Passing and head back to your haven. The whole way there, you are tempted by the beast. Your driver, a 30-something with a strong Slavic accent and an unpronounceable name on his ID, keeps asking if he should drive you to the hospital. You keep declining, all the while thinking that if you only ask him to pull over for 5 minutes, you could feast on his warm blood to the beast's content, drink him whole. Nobody would know. Nobody but his wife, kids, if he has them. Nobody but his boss and co-workers. Nobody but you, as you look in the mirror tomorrow. Keeping your hunger at bay was never before as difficult as it is tonight. The driver stops at your apartment building. There's nobody around. Do it. Do it. Now. Now! I'm gonna give in. The driver opens the door for you, asks if you're alright. His words change to a muffled shout. He goes silent. You think he tastes great. Masquerade is a tired, caffeine-pumped taxi driver with high cholesterol taste. Warm blood pours down your throat and flows to your limbs, mending them. It's growing cold, but you still do not have control. You're still observing, not acting. Your body is not yours. The beast is in charge. That's enough. No, it's not. I said that's enough. It will never be enough. Enough! You break away from the man. He's dazed but conscious. He groggily says something about feeling tired. You leave the money on the driver's seat and let him rest in the back. The 4 familiar walls of your haven are a blessing. The beast inside you keeps nagging. But you have reined it in tonight. Not a small feat, given your state. You're still weak. You're still not quite mended. You need to rest. Tomorrow, you'll have to feed again. Tomorrow, you'll have to consider your next move. Callahan is not the kind of man who quits. But tonight, you'll rest. Oakley dokley. I did not expect that. Really? This Victorian dressed, old looking creep and his friends who beat the shit out of me? I think that's where we're gonna quit for now. So I can still go talk to this Jezebel next time. And then the guy with the church. Damn, I already forgot his name. So yeah, next time we're gonna see what that's about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like on this video if you liked it. Leave a comment down below. Who should I go to next? Should I go to Jezebel or should I go back to the church? Even though I don't really want to, but if you want me to, I will. Yeah. Please subscribe to my channel if you like videos like this and you want to see more of them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll game with you later. Bye!